Hey everybody, it's time once again for an episode of NHL Remember Him. And in episode 42, we're going to be looking at a longtime NHLer, someone who played through the entirety of the 2000s and well into the 2010s, Martin Havlat, who had a very strong NHL career, unfortunately got limited by injuries towards the end, and that really limited his production and pushed down his numbers compared to what they could have been given his talent level, but nonetheless still had a very good NHL career and was a great guy to watch for many, many years. So before we get into it, I just ask that you please hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If you haven't, it helps the channel an absolute ton and is greatly appreciated. But let's get started here. Looking at Marty Havlat. Martin Havlat was a right winger drafted in the first round, 26 overall by the Ottawa Senators in 1999. He went on to play 790 games in the NHL, scoring 242 goals, 352 assists, 594 career points, and a plus 78 rating. And on top of that, he played 75 playoff games, putting up 21 goals, 31 assists for 52 points, and a minus 3 rating. He played many years in the NHL, from 2000 all the way through 2016. However, injuries did limit his games played total. It was something that he dealt with throughout his career, and especially the last 4 or 5 seasons, he had a big injury problem that very much limited how much he was able to play and how much he was able to produce. So Havlat started with the team that drafted him, the Ottawa Senators, and played there from 2000 through 2006, and really put up some big numbers with them and had some very strong seasons with Ottawa. He then went to the Chicago Blackhawks from 2006 to 2009 and had some more very good years with Chicago. Unfortunately for him, he missed Chicago's first Stanley Cup year by 1 season. Obviously, the Blackhawks went on to win it in 2009-2010. His final season with the Blackhawks was 2008-2009, where he then went to the Minnesota Wild from 2009 to 2011. He played 2 seasons in Minnesota and put up some phenomenal numbers there, had 2 very strong seasons with the Wild, and then got sent to the San Jose Sharks, where he played from 2011 through 2014. And unfortunately, for much of his time in San Jose, he was injury prone, missed a lot of games that he was supposed to play in. Numbers really started to decline in San Jose for Marty Havlat, and that really started to mark the decline of his career as a whole and a really big drop in his production as a whole. He then went to the New Jersey Devils for 2014-2015. Didn't really have a very strong season there, and you could tell that the end was coming. And then in 2015-2016, he only played 2 games with the St. Louis Blues, scored 1 goal, and that was it. He never played another NHL game again, so that wasn't even a full year in 2015-16. He literally just played 2 games with the Blues, and that was it for Marty Havlat. So this was a guy who was extremely talented, had some very good seasons, especially early in his career. But over the years, injuries limited his games played. They limited his points. And they really caught up to him at the end of his career when it really started to have a long-term effect. And his overall production, even when he was healthy, really dropped off, really starting in San Jose and there beyond. Again, he had some great seasons with Ottawa, was very strong with the Chicago Blackhawks, had a couple of very good seasons with the Minnesota Wild, but then once he got to San Jose, things really started to drop off. The injuries started to pick up even more, and those last few stops of his career were not overly productive. So it was an unfortunate and kind of sad end for Marty Havlat, because he did have a ton of talent, and had he been able to stay healthier, I think you would be looking at a guy who would have played close to 1,000 games, if not over 1,000 games, and he probably would have about 700 to maybe 800 points in his career if he was able to stay healthy. But injuries really did take their toll, especially at the end, and unfortunately, that led to him being out of the league by 2015, 2016. So, all in all, though, it was a very good career. You know, he played, I think, 14 seasons in the NHL, 15 seasons in the NHL, and was a really high-quality player for many of them. You know, for a late first-round pick to go on and play almost 800 games and have almost 600 points, that's a very, very good career. And it's just unfortunate how it ended, and you know, the way that the injuries caught up to him. But it definitely could have been a little bit different had he been able to stay healthier. But nonetheless, a very good NHL career for Marty Havlat. Definitely a guy worth remembering. Definitely a guy that I remember. I remember very well his Chicago days, Minnesota, San Jose, when the injury problems really started to ramp up. That 1 year in New Jersey. And I honestly didn't remember that he was a St. Louis Blue, but it was only for 2 games. So that's probably why I don't remember. But he had some very, very good seasons and some very, very good years. So, NHL, remember him, episode 42, Martin Havlat, longtime NHL winger who had a very, very strong career, especially early on, and put up some big numbers in Ottawa, Chicago, and Minnesota. And a guy that never was, you know, the number one star of his team, but always a very, very good second line level type guy, and was that for a long, long time. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, links to our Patreon merchandise store, donation link, and channel memberships are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you really enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.